So in the last class we have discussed about all these 5 points. First one is what is inertia. So inertia is actually one inherent property of any object, any body, which actually opposes the change in its state. If that object is in rest, that object really wants to be at rest, and if that object is in motion, that continues to be in motion until any external force is applied. So it is further classified into 2 parts. One is that inertia of rest, means if that object is at rest, because of that inertia of rest, that object wants to be at rest in absence of an external force. And you can give several examples. So you have to give 2 examples. So examples are, कौन से examples तुम लोगों ने लिखा है? First example, obviously that if bust जो है वो रेस्ट पे है, सडनली अगर वो स्टार्ट होता है तो जस्ट बी बेंट behind. So because बॉडी का जो पूरे पार्ट है वो इनिशियली रेस्ट ऑफ इनर्शिया पे रहता है, जैसे वो मोशन पे आता है लोअर पार्ट तो जो है वो मोशन में आ जाता है बस के साथ, लेकिन अपर पार्ट बिकॉज ऑफ दैट इनर्शिया ऑफ रेस्ट वो पीछे बेंट हो जाता है. सेकंड एग्जांपल डस्ट. हाँ यस, अगर कोई कालीन है, उस कालीन को जब डंडे से ये किया जाता है तो कालीन तो मोशन में आ जाता है, लेकिन जो डस्ट पार्टिकल्स हैं वो डस्ट पार्टिकल्स रेस्ट में रह जाते हैं बिकॉज ऑफ दैट तो इनर्शिया ऑफ रेस्ट तो वो नीचे ड्रॉप हो जाता है. और फ्रूट्स वाला भी है, लिप्स है ना, अचानक अगर कोई आप ट्री को अगर कोई आप सेक करते हो तो फ्रूट्स जो है वो ड्रॉप हो जाते हैं. एंड द सेकंड पार्ट इज द इनर्शिया ऑफ मोशन. सो just part of that so that body is in motion, so because of that that inherent property of inertia, it just continues to be motion in absence of any external force. So there are several examples of this motion of inertia. Obviously one is that bus. If that bus is moving with constant velocity, if suddenly brake is applied, so all the पैसेंजर्स वेंट फॉरवर्ड, तो बॉडी का लोअर पार्ट जो है वो इनर्शिया बस के साथ स्टॉप हो जाता है, लेकिन इनर्शिया की वजह से सामने जो है मोशन में रह जाता है. सेकंड एग्जांपल घोड़ा या हॉर्स राइडिंग. हाँ उसमें भी अब सडनली अगर कोई अप्लाई किया तो सामने उसमें गिर सकते हैं. तो दैट इज सेकंड एग्जांपल. सेवरल एग्जांपल्स एंड इट्स गिवन इन. Prove that the inertia depends on mass. So inertia is actually the measurement of mass. If any object have more mass, inertia will be more. ज़्यादा मास होगा तो इनर्शिया जो है वो ज़्यादा होता है. लारी और कार का एग्जांपल दिया जाता है. अगर बाय द वे दोनों सेम स्पीड से अगर कोई रोड पे मोशन पे है, लारी एंड दैट लारी ट्रक एंड कार जो है सेम स्पीड से अगर कोई रोड पे अगर कोई मोशन पे है, सडनली एक साथ अगर ब्रेक अप्लाई किया जाता है तो कार रुक जाता है, लेकिन लारी जो है चूँकि हैवी है, मास ज़्यादा है, वो रुक नहीं पाता, वो अपने ब्रेक का ये करते हुए आगे निकल जाता है ना. सो दैट इज़ बिकॉज ऑफ द इफेक्ट ऑफ मास इन द इनर्शिया. हर बार ये कहा जाता है ना कि लारी वाले ने भाई लारी से एक्सीडेंट हो गया, लारी वाले ने ठोक दिया लाइक दैट, लेकिन वो अपने पूरा कोशिश करता है. कार को तुम 120 की रफ्तार से अगर कोई भगा रहे हो, ब्रेक अगर अप्लाई किए तो कार रुक सकती है, लेकिन अगर वही लारी को अगर 80 की स्पीड से भी अगर कोई भगा रहे हो और अगर उसका मास अगर कोई ज़्यादा है तो ब्रेक लगाने के बाद भी रोड में वो आवाज़ करते हुए बहुत दूर तक घिसटते चला जाता है, और जितने दूर तक वो घिसटते जाता है सामने अगर कोई है तो वो चपेट में जाता है, क्योंकि वो ट्राई तो करता है ब्रेक लगाने का, लेकिन पूरे चक्के जाम हो जाते हैं ब्रेक की वजह से. लेकिन बिकॉज ऑफ इनर्शिया वो रोड को आवाज़ करते हुए रोड में स्लाइड होते हुए वो सामने वाले को ले लेता है. ठोकने के बाद भी तो उतने स्पीड से भागा. हाँ उसके बाद फिर वो भागता है, क्योंकि हाँ मालूम है कि अगर बाय द वे मैं नहीं भागा तो फिर लोग मुझे भगाएंगे, तो उसमें उसकी गलती नहीं होती, गलती तो इनर्शिया की होती है. उसने एक्सीडेंट नहीं किया होता, ड्राइवर बेचारा तो पूरा ब्रेक लगाया होता है, लेकिन बिकॉज ऑफ दैट मास एंड द इफेक्ट ऑफ मास इन इनर्शिया, लारी उसको ठोक देता है ना। तो ये कार और लारी का एग्जांपल देकर के इफेक्ट ऑफ मास इन इनर्शिया को समझाया जा सकता है। सो व्हाट इज द इनर्शिया ऑफ डायरेक्शन? सो इफ ऑब्वियसली रेस्ट है तो रेस्ट में रहना चाहेगा, मोशन में है तो मोशन में रहना चाहेगा इन एब्सेंस ऑफ एक्सटर्नल फोर्स until we apply any force। साथ ही साथ चेंज इन डायरेक्शन इज ऑल्सो इम्पॉर्टेंट इन मोशन। सो अगर बाय द वे आप इसमें किसी प्रकार का कोई फोर्स नहीं लगा रहे हो तो बिकॉज ऑफ इनर्शिया उसका डायरेक्शन चेंज नहीं हो सकता है ना, सेम डायरेक्शन पे ये मूवमेंट करेगा एंड दैट इज नोन एज द डायरेक्शन ऑफ इनर्शिया ऑफ डायरेक्शन। इसमें एग्जांपल जस्ट द रोटेशनल मोशन, अगर रोटेशनल मोशन पे अगर कोई है तो बाहर की तरफ उसमें फोर्स लग रहा है एंड दिस इज उसमें कोई फोर्स नहीं, कांस्टेंट उसी डायरेक्शन पे फोर्स लगेगा। सो दीज आर द 5 points of the day। Now law of motion, laws of motion। So in physics, in this chapter we will talk about 3 laws of motion: first law of motion, second law of motion, third law of motion। So today I will try to cover this first law of motion and the second law of motion। So the first law of motion, the concept of inertia, types of inertia, definition of inertia, accumulative, known as the first law of motion। This law of all these 3 law of motion are given by that Sir Isaac Newton। So these are the Newton's law of motion। So first law of motion, according to this law, now you have to just write the definition of inertia। If any body is in rest, just you have to write the law of, this also known as law of inertia, you have to write the definition of inertia। So according to this first law of motion, if any body is in rest, it will remains at rest, or any body is in motion, is in motion with constant velocity, it remains continues its motion until any external force is applied। This is also known as law of inertia। So that law of inertia, this is the first law of motion in Newton's book Principia, it is included। So according to first law of motion, if any object is in motion, that will be in motion, and if that object is in at rest, that will be at rest until we apply any external force। So this is known as the first law of motion or the law of inertia। So we have given several examples in the last class to explain that law of inertia or that concept of inertia, and all those examples can be given in this first law of motion। So this is the first law of motion। Now before going to second law of motion, we have to use some more physical parameter to discuss। That one is that momentum। So we should know about the momentum first। So first of all, let us discuss about momentum. And obviously this is the linear momentum, because generally we talk about linear motion initially. So this is the linear momentum. It is represented by P. So to understand this momentum, we just think about the two objects. This is one heavy object, this is mass m1, and this is another mass m2. And the height is, let's say, height of these two objects from which these two objects are dropping are h. This is the identical one. If this mass m1, it is greater than m2, let's say. Obviously, these two objects just hit the ground with the same velocity, because we have three equations of motion, and all these are in the effect of that acceleration due to gravitational z. So we can calculate v here at the ground. Here this v is equal to zt, because that initial velocity u is equal to 0. Here that u is equal to 0. We certainly just drop that object. So here this is m, the mass m. It hits the ground with velocity v is equal to g2, because v is equal to, we have this relation, v is equal to u plus zt. We use this relation, j is positive in this direction. So at the ground, when this object touches the ground with the velocity, this v is equal to gt. So again, this also, this will be v is equal to gt. Means, although the mass m of these two objects, two bodies are different, m1 is greater than m2, but the velocity during these objects hit the ground, that will be identical, v is equal to gt and v is equal to gt, means it is independent of mass. But when we have a glass plate here at the ground, if the mass of any object, small ball is there, the impact of glass, if you want to check the impact of glass of these two mass, एक ऑब्जेक्ट अगर कोई हैवी है, ऑब्वियसली ग्लास प्लेट को तोड़ देगा. एक ऑब्जेक्ट जो है वो अगर कोई लाइटर है, छोटा है, तो ये ग्लास प्लेट को नहीं तोड़ेगा. So impact on this glass plate, that will be different because of different mass. Velocity is identical, because height is identical. So velocity is identical, v is equal to zt, or if you want to use that v is equal to with the effect of this, v is equal to root of 2gh. This formula is more adequate. So if we consider this height is identical, so this v is equal to root of 2gh, the third equation. So if time is identical, then the velocity is this, and this I think I should use this formula, because I am considering that height, identical height. So v is equal to root of 2gh, v is equal to root of 2gh, height is identical, so velocity will be identical. लेकिन मास जो है वो अलग अलग है, इसलिए उस ग्लास प्लेट पर उसका जो इम्पैक्ट होगा वो अलग होगा. मीन्स वेलोसिटी के साथ साथ उसका जो मास है, दिस इज ऑल्सो इम्पॉर्टेंट टू चेक द इम्पैक्ट ऑन दैट ग्लास प्लेट. इस ग्लास प्लेट में उसका इम्पैक्ट अगर देखना है, तो ये मास का इफेक्ट जो होना है वो भी ज़्यादा होगा. तो एक और फिजिकल पैरामीटर डिफाइन किया जाता है टू चेक सच इम्पैक्ट, and that is known as the momentum. So momentum is actually a term which is correlated with mass and velocity, and this is the multiplication of mass and velocity. Okay, so momentum P, this is equal to m into v. Generally, mass is denoted by m and velocity is v. And we can talk about this momentum. This will be the vector quantity, because this mass is a scalar quantity and velocity is a vector quantity. So the momentum P is equal to m multiplied by this. One can write its unit and dimension also, because this is a new physical quantity. So you should write its unit as well as the direction. So the unit will be unit of momentum in SI system. In SI system, what is this? This is kilogram. Velocity is meter per second. Is it? Kilogram meter per second. Dimension
m/L/T-1.
Dimension of momentum. This is mass is m, and this velocity, that is L/T-1. This is the dimension. So when you define any new physical quantity, you should write unit as well as its dimension. So the momentum is the multiplication of mass and velocity. It depends on mass. This is the scalar quantity, and the velocity. This is the vector quantity. That's why this momentum is a vector quantity. So if it is vector quantity, one can also write that px, py, pz in the three different directions. So this px that is equal to m is equal to vx, py that is equal to m py, and pz that is equal to m pz. So in three directions one can write like this. So this pxi plus pyz plus pzk, that is equal to mass m is vxi plus pyz plus pzk. So that px, these are the terms px, py, and pz in three different directions to show that momentum is a vector quantity. So we can correlate and do some mathematics using this mass and velocity and momentum. If this p is constant, m multiplied by v. I am just writing it in scalar form, not taking the direction. So if p is constant, m is equal to m dot v is equal to constant, or m1 v1 is equal to m2 v2, and the return is equal to constant. The multiplication of this mass and velocity, that will be a constant. So one can write this is m1 by m2, it is equal to v2 by v1. Means m1 is inversely proportional to v. M is inversely proportional. So this m1 by m2 is equal to v2 by v1. So if in general, when we talk about this type of motion, when we are just we are not thinking about this momentum, then the velocity is identical. Mass is different. But if this momentum is constant, then these are inversely proportional. m1 by m2 is equal to v2 by v1. And in terms of plot, one can write, one will have a plot between this. This is m, and this is v, and momentum p is constant. So this is shown like this. Inversely proportional means just decreasing. जैसे जैसे मास डिक्रीज होगा वैसे वैसे वेलोसिटी बढ़ेगा. मोमेंटम कांस्टेंट है, छोटा ऑब्जेक्ट होता जाएगा, वेलोसिटी बढ़ती जाएगी, है ना. जैसे जैसे मास डिक्रीज हो रहा है, वेलोसिटी बढ़ रही है, मींस इट इज इनवर्सली प्रोपोर्शनल, इनवर्सली कोरिलेटेड. Okay, now second parameter, if we take this m is constant, so in this p is equal to m v. If m is constant, this term is constant, means p is directly proportional to v. Means momentum will be directly proportional to v. In terms of graph, one can write this is p and this is v, and one will have one straight line like this in graph. And one can also write this p1 by V1, it is equivalent to P2 by V2. So this is, one can write, this is P1 is equivalent to constant multiplied by V1, let the same is constant. Similarly, third, if V is constant, so this momentum P, this is directly proportional to mass, and this P1 by M1 can be written as equivalent to P2 by M2, and in terms of, in form of plot, we will have this is this momentum and this is mass, and obviously the plot will be same. So these are simple notation, and one can. Okay, so these are the terms related to momentum. So we have three physical parameters. If mass is constant, P is directly proportional to V. If V is constant, P is directly proportional to M. And these are the graphical representation as well as mathematical terms. And if this momentum P is constant, so the multiplication of these two are constant, and this M is inversely proportional to V. So we will have a plot like that. So that mass as mass decreases, velocity will increase. So again, we will talk about the force, that the factor which are changing that its velocity. In general, we take that mass is constant. Generally physics में 11th के physics में mass को ज़्यादा vary नहीं करते, mass को constant parameter मान के चलते हैं. So always we will try to take that mass as constant. So if we want to take the change in momentum, means there will be the change in the velocity. If this is that object, it's when initial, it is in motion with initial velocity v. Obviously, if its mass is m and initial velocity is v, so the momentum that p is equivalent to m multiplied by v. When one force is applied, if the force is applied, if mass is constant, its velocity will be changed. So now its velocity, it becomes that v plus delta v. It's changing. Initially it was v. After applying this force, its velocity becomes v plus delta v, and there will be change in its momentum also, because there is change in its velocity. So the momentum that p prime, that is v prime, or I should write, yeah, v prime is equal to v plus delta v, and p prime, that will be the initial momentum p plus delta p. So change in momentum, the change in momentum, that will be that p prime minus p. That initial momentum is p, the final momentum after applying force, this is p prime. This is equal to p plus delta p minus p, and that is going to delta p. This is change in momentum, and this change in momentum is because of change in its velocity. So that change in velocity will be v plus delta p minus v, then that will be delta p. So that delta p is because of change in its velocity. If time factor is including here to calculate the rate of change, जब कभी हम कहीं पर कहते हैं कि रेट किस रेट से टाइम के साथ किस ढंग से चेंज हो रहा है, किस रेट से चेंज हो रहा है, then we include that time factor. So the rate of change in momentum, if one to calculate, then that will be equal to delta p by delta t. So this change in at time delta t, so this change in time interval time delta t. So here the time is t, at time t this is that momentum. After time t plus delta t, so initially that time is t, after time t plus delta t, its momentum becomes p prime. So this change in its momentum in time delta t, this is the delta p. So the rate of change of momentum will be delta p by delta t. Okay, and this is correlated with force in Newton's second law of motion. So this force is, so according to Newton's second law of motion, this rate of change of momentum, this force is taken as directly proportional to rate of change of momentum. So I should write first the statement before writing this. It's in mathematics. So according to Newton's second law of motion, the rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to applied force along the same direction of force. So जिस डायरेक्शन पे फोर्स अप्लाई किया जाता है उसी डायरेक्शन पे चेंज होगा. So according to Newton's second law of motion, the rate of change of momentum, this is the rate of change of momentum, this is directly proportional to the force applied. Our force is directly proportional to that rate of change of momentum, and the change in the same direction. So this mathematically one can write force is directly proportional to delta P by delta G, the rate of change of momentum. So one can take a constant F is equal to constant K delta P by delta T, where K can be taken as equivalent to 1 in SI unit. So that other terms are taken in such a way that K becomes 1. So K is equivalent to 1. So this F can be mathematically written as delta P by delta T. Now we can take this P in terms of mass and velocity. So this F is equal to delta M multiplied by delta V by delta T, and mass is constant, so M delta V by delta T. So this is F, and this delta V by delta T in terms of average acceleration, we can take this F is equal to mass multiplied by acceleration, where average acceleration A is defined as delta P by delta T. In terms of average acceleration, average velocity, and also we can provide this in instantaneous velocity, instantaneous terms. So this F can be written as equal to delta P by delta T. If this delta T tends to 0, so if this time taken delta T this tends to 0, then this F can be written as equivalent to limit delta T tends to 0, delta P by delta T, and this is equivalent to dP by dt from the definition of derivatives. So this force can be written as equivalent to dP by dt in form of differentiation. This F is equal to d by dt mass multiplied by V, and this is mass is constant, so this is dP by dt, and one can write this is mass multiplied by acceleration. So the force is derived from the second law of motion. So F is equal to mass multiplied by acceleration, either through this instantaneous process or through this average acceleration terms. Both have the same relation, F is equal to mass multiplied by acceleration. So obviously this force is a vector quantity because this acceleration is a vector quantity. So in terms of vector, one can write this force as this F is a vector quantity because this acceleration is a vector quantity. So one can write this Fxi plus Fyj plus Fzk equal to mass Axi plus Ayj plus Azk, and in terms of different components we will have this Fx is equal to mass Ax, Fy this is equal to mass Ay, Fz this is mass Z. And by using this you can use that units and dimension of force also. So you know the unit of force is in CGS system, unit of force. It's not unit of force. In CGS it's a dyne. In SI it's a Newton. So this is actually that kilogram. This is meter per second square, and the dimension is the dimension of mass is m, and the dimension of acceleration is Lt minus 2. So what is the relation between this Newton and dyne? I think we did in dimension chapter. So when we talk about that application of dimension, so what is the relation between Newton and dyne? So 1 Newton is equal to 10 to the power 5. So this is 10 to the power 5. So these are general terms one should know. Even we can think about this relation in more detail, just similar to momentum. We will have different plots depending on the constant parameter. Case number 1, 2, 3. So we have the scalar form of this. Force is equal to mass multiplied by any scalar form. Just we are forgetting about the direction. So if m is constant, in general we take this m is constant, body mass agar fixed hai. So this force F, it is directly proportional to A. So that F1 by A1 can be written as equal to F2 by A2. Just divide के term में लेकर के constant ले सकते हो. So this F1 by A1 is equal to F2 by A2. And in terms of plot, this is the force and this is acceleration. So these are directly, so obviously the curve will be like this. Here this mass m is constant. Second, if f is constant, force is constant, acceleration. If acceleration a is constant, then f is, this implies f is directly proportional to m. So this f1 by m1 is equal to f2 by m2, and in terms of plot we will have this force and mass with the same line. Here this acceleration is constant. Third भी डायरेक्टली बना सकते हैं. Equation number third. If f is constant, so this mass multiplied by a is constant, and mass is inversely proportional to a. So m1 a1 is equal to m2 a2. So in any numerical problem, you can just check which parameter is taken as a constant, and you can directly use this such type of relation. And in terms of plot, when we have this is mass and this acceleration, and this forces that where this force is constant. अगर हमारे पास दो ऑब्जेक्ट है, दोनों ऑब्जेक्ट का मास अगर डिफरेंट है, दोनों में सेम फोर्स लगा रहे हो, तो जिसका मास ज़्यादा होगा, है ना, उसमें एक्सेलरेशन कम होगा, ये कहना चाह रहा है. सो मास अगर डिक्रीज होता जा रहा है, एक्सेलरेशन जो है बढ़ता जा रहा है. मास अगर बढ़ते जाएगा तो एक्सेलरेशन जो है वो डिक्रीज होगा अगर फोर्स आपने सेम अप्लाई किया है. So this is the concept of momentum, concept of force, and the second of motion. And I think you should try some numericals. So if y is given as, the displacement is given as ut plus half gt square, this is that relation, y is equal to ut plus half gt square. Calculate force, calculate force of a body with mass So directly we can use that the force is equivalent to mass into acceleration. Here acceleration is taken as z. So one can write this force is equivalent to mass multiplied by z. Our second term is just to find that acceleration by using differential method. So first that velocity v is equivalent to dy by dt, and then you have to find that acceleration is equivalent to dv by dt. So that dy by dt is equivalent to, what is this? This is u plus half and z multiplied by qt by using the differential. So this is equal to zt. So u plus zt. This is the first equation. So v is equivalent to u plus zt after differentiating this. Again we will differentiate this. So this is equal to differentiation of u plus zt. So this is a constant. So this will be 0 and this is equivalent to z. So that acceleration a, it is equivalent to 0 by taking the differentiation second times, 2 times the differentiation of this term. So this is acceleration. So force is defined as force is equal to mass multiplied by acceleration. So this is Fz and this is mz. So you can play with different parameters, physical parameters. एक simple सा example लेके चलें फिर let's conclude the session. So if we have, this is one body and two forces are being applied. This is along this one force. This is force F1. It is equal to 5 root 2. And in the second direction, another force is applied with an angle 60 degree. This is the second force F2, and this is 6 root 2. If the mass of this body m is equal to 100 kg, mass of this body is 10 kg. Okay, you can calculate different other parameters just like acceleration, velocity, and the displacement. You have to calculate the parameters: acceleration, displacement, the velocity, and the displacement. Time is given as after 10 seconds. After 10 seconds. So after 10 seconds, you have to calculate acceleration, velocity, and the displacement. So this is the body of mass 10 kilogram. Two forces are being applied. One is F1, that is 5 under root 2, and there is another force F2, that is 6 under root 2 with an angle of 60 degree. So first of all, you have to calculate a resultant force of these two, and then use the formula force is equal to mass multiplied by acceleration to calculate A. Then use equations of motion to find this velocity and that displacement. So the resultant force, to calculate resultant force, what you have to do is F is equal to root of F1 square plus F2 square plus 2 F1 F2 cos theta. You have to use this because the angle is given, two forces are given, so you have to use. So this is force, and as for acceleration, A is equal to F multiplied by m. This is acceleration, and for this velocity V, you have to use ut plus half, and that u plus at, and for displacement you have to use ut plus half at square. So just calculate it.